All right. All right. All right. D-Style Boxing here. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. Let's go ahead and talk about this here. If you're listening on archive, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and take a moment, thumbs up the video. As promised, a little late probably, but as promised, quarterfinal predictions for the World Cup, right? 2018 World Cup. Here are my quarterfinal predictions, right? Let's see here. Prince White Charming in the house. I mean, Prince White Charming just like, boom, he just showed up. Like, Kemal Oz, what up? Can you guys hear me, by the way? Sound good? Kemal Oz already putting out those predictions. Let me give you my predictions. By the way, as a reminder, whoever's listening on archive, you could always go on the chat. You could, as it happened live, you can actually see the chat as we speak, okay? Prince White Charming, notification work. That's good to hear. Speaking of notifications, click on that notification button so you get notified when DStyleBoxing comes on live. All right, check it out. Check it out. Okay. So a quick rundown on the round of 16 and how I kind of called it and how it went. Okay. Uruguay versus Portugal, far left. You could see it right there, right? That didn't go as I thought Portugal would win, but it was a pretty close game in fairness. And I also called it the toughest game to call out of the entire round of 16. So Uruguay winning was not a surprise, right? So Uruguay, right, advanced. France, Argentina. Argentina actually put up a better fight than I thought they would, right? They got handled still, but in the end, they almost tied it. I mean, it's crazy to think they almost scored another goal at the end. But that stoppage time goal made it look closer than what it was, but they still scored it in fairness, and they almost came back to tie it. But there you go. All right. I did call France to win. 99% of people probably had France winning, though. Okay, Brazil versus Mexico. I wanted Mexico to win, okay, but Brazil won, right? And that's who I thought would win. I expected Mexico to at least score a goal, though. My prediction was 2-1. It was 2-0. Brazil's defense is on point this year. I think only like 7 shots at goal. Mexico had 1 shot at goal, okay, in this game. I think it's 5 shots at goal, by the way, by not 7. That has been put on Brazil. 1 was by Mexico in the round of 16. And literally in 4 games, 5 shots at goal. That is impressive. So that's that. And of course, Belgium, Japan. I felt that was an easy call. However, Japan, I mean, had me sweating. Like, I couldn't believe it when they scored and scored again. But Belgium came back. They scored the equalizer, and they scored the game winner. Just a devastating loss that Japan suffered. And the Cinderella story of Japan has come to an end. They surpassed my expectations, and I think their country should be proud, man. They went out there against Belgium. Some people are whispering about Belgium winning the whole thing. So for Japan to come out and be winning for a good portion of that game, and be right in there with Belgium was very, very impressive. Okay, but in the end, Kemal Oz is saying they choked. Well, they ran out of steam. I mean, they ran out of steam. They were playing a fast-paced game, and they have been playing a fast-paced game. At some point, that engine's going to run out. And I got to be honest, if they would have somehow gotten out of this Belgium game, right, I doubt it. Like, if they would have hung on or maybe scored a goal before stoppage time ended, I don't know if they had enough energy in them for extra time. I think they would have been scored on again and again, in my opinion. But if by some miracle they would have made it through and then still won the penalty kicks or they scored the goal, whatever, I don't know how much energy they would have left against Brazil. I think it would have been a slaughter. I think Japan put whatever energy they had left was there after they scored those 2 goals, right? But Belgium won. Okay, the right side of the bracket, maybe many people calling it the weak side, the weak bracket, but Japan, Russia, I did not see that coming at all, right? Not Japan, I'm sorry, Spain. Spain, Russia, I did not see that coming. Russia came out there and did what they had to do to stay alive and force that game all the way to penalty kicks. And once you go to penalty kicks, it is a free-for-all. Anyone could beat anybody at penalty kicks, unless you're England against Germany. You're not going to beat Germany's going to win the penalty kicks. But with that said, Russia pulled off one of the biggest upsets in FIFA history, in round of 16 history for sure. And now they're going to go face Croatia, who has now become probably, in my opinion, the favorite to advance, to go all the way to the final on the right side of the bracket. So we'll see. They got past Spain, but Croatia they play a completely different style than Spain. I expect Croatia to, yes, have possession, dominate possession, but they're going to be a lot more ruthless in that box. They're going to attack a lot more, and they don't have to wait for that, perfect goal like Spain did. Croatia is a bad matchup for Russia. I am expecting, we'll talk about that, but Croatia, Denmark, as expected, played a very good game, but I just felt like Croatia was just a little better, and we saw that, right? I think it went to penalty kicks, okay? So I did not expect it to go to penalty kicks, but nonetheless, Croatia moves on, right? I think the better team won, but Denmark could have advanced. Sweden versus Switzerland, I had Sweden winning, but to be honest, I had no idea who was going to win this game. I did not get to watch this game. All I could look at is the stats, but Sweden advanced. Sweden's in the mix, okay? Colombia, England. Colombia, you could argue, played a very rough game, but England hung in there. It also, I don't know, this was around the penalty kicks, but it went to penalty kicks, and England advances. You know what I mean? And for all these teams that advance with penalty kicks, I don't think that's the way you want to advance. Like, you know what I mean? It's because it's a free-for-all at that point. But if you're an underdog like Russia, you'll take that free-for-all over losing, right? So that's why sometimes it's these teams that aren't considered as good could be dangerous if they have a solid defense or they have a solid game, So with that said, let's talk about the round of 8 here, or actually the quarterfinals. Kimala says Spain was undone by Spanish FA and Real Madrid. They handled that manager situation terribly. Prince White Charming says Russia, if they can beat Croatia, and if England beats Sweden, Russia will beat England and go to the final. Wow. Jamie Chavez, I hope Belgium destroys Brazil the same way Germany did in 2014. Well, it's going to be interesting, but let's talk about it. Let's start on the right side of the bracket really quick. Left side, the way we've been doing it. Right? The way we've been doing it. Why switch it up, right? Why switch it up? For those that just came in, take a moment, thumbs up the video. All right? Check it out. Uruguay versus France. Tough game to call, right? Tough game, but I'm going to roll with France. Okay, France is my official prediction. That's why I originally had advancing in the quarterfinals. I'm going to stick with that. That has not changed. I'm going to roll with France. Mbappe, I think it's going to be on fire. And he's going to, even if he doesn't score goals, man, they're going to have to be on him a lot. And I think that's going to leave a lot of the other French players open. Overall, it's going to be a very devastating situation for Uruguay. But Uruguay themselves, okay, have very good forwards. You got, first of all, Suarez, to me, even though I don't like the guy, he's always dangerous, right? So you got the danger of Suarez there. So I think Uruguay might play a little rough. Okay, look for that. If things are not going their way, if Mbappe is overwhelming them with his speed down the middle, okay, if France has control of the possession, okay, if France is creating more opportunities, if Uruguay might get a little frustrated, especially if they can't hang on to the ball long enough to create anything. So, and one of the reasons I don't like Uruguay is they do tend to play a little dirty when things don't go their way. All right, so look for that. So it might turn into a pretty nasty game, especially in the second half. Right, I do believe that's going to happen. Okay, Cavani will not play versus France supposedly. I haven't heard anything about that. That's interesting. But I do got to say, I got France winning. Right, I got France winning. I got France advancing to the semifinals. I do believe France is a faster team. Speed-wise, they have the advantage. And skill-wise, they have a slight advantage with the overall team. Okay? Uruguay is not an easy team to beat. They are 4-0 in this tournament, right? They won every single game. I mean, they destroyed Russia, okay, in the group. Now, usually that wouldn't mean anything, but after Russia beat Spain, I think it does mean a lot, okay? So I do believe, and I don't know if anybody agrees or not. I mean, maybe some people feel Uruguay is the most skilled team. And now, what does Uruguay have to do to win? They're going to have to find a way, right, to contain Mbappe. That's number one. They got to contain the guy. Okay, it's intercept any passes to him. Okay, clog up the box, right, and also play some, South American style midfield soccer to give yourself more possession time and have that patience to create openings and create opportunities down in the box. Get in the box as much as possible. Don't try to do what Mexico is doing against Brazil, just constantly just throwing themselves to try and get a penalty, which is frustrating. Get in there, create, and make France uncomfortable in the box. And look, I'm not 100%. I'm not against flopping. Okay, I just want to make this clear. If you do get fouled, I'm okay with selling it a little more than what it is. If you legitimately get fouled, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, I just don't like flopping when they barely touched you or nothing really aggressive happened. But that's what I want to see Uruguay do here, and I just hope that they don't turn this into a dirty game, because if they do, they're risking a red card, and if you're down to 10 players, you're not going to beat France. Okay, you're just not. And the last thing you want is to beat France, but then one of your top players or a key player in a key position is not going to be able to play in the semifinal because he got booked. So you want to make sure that you have a disciplined game, an effective game, stay in the game, don't lose control of it, right? And fight for that possession. And that's going to start in the midfield. I think that's the game plan anyway for Uruguay. For France, I just say attack, to be honest with you. Okay? Attack smart, all right? The weakness of France is their defense, all right? So to me, that means control possession, so you have the ball most of the time, and try to control the midfield, okay, more than anything. Like, concentrate on those two things, because even if France blows out Uruguay, they're going to get scored on. Okay, it'll be like 5-2 if it's a blowout. Okay, you're going to get scored on either way. So you got to be offensive here, and you got to dominate possession. I just think that's what they got to do. We'll see, right? All right, AJ10. Let me go back here. Let me catch up with the comments. Neymar's a clown, says Joe Lopez 40 ounce. Okay, Jamie Chavez, England has the easiest path to the quarterfinals ever. Yeah, very true. Joe Lopez does not want Brazil to win it all. Kemal says Belgium's defense super suspect. Brazil will run them ragged. Well, we'll see. And Jamie Chavez is hoping Belgium destroys Brazil. Jamie Chavez said Brazil and Uruguay meet. There will be 100 flops between Neymar and Suarez in the first half alone. Right. After Hurricane, France needs to work on their defense, and I think Cabanas is injured. Prince White Charming, England is the weakest team left in the World Cup. Kamalas Mbappe has had a young Pelé-like emergence in the World Cup. Interesting. Kamal says England is greater than Russia. I do agree with that. Age of 10, I have a feeling, just a feeling, the final will be England versus Brazil. Prince White Charming, Russia has impressed me more than England. Wow. Kamalas, England versus Brazil, France in the final. Prince White Charming says France, Brazil, one of them in the finals is my prediction. Also, Croatia, Russia winner being in the final. Wow. Unless England pays their way into the final. Age of 10, I won't be surprised if Uruguay takes it tomorrow. France is a great counterattacking team. They are. Tomorrow they will be one with possession. Prince White Charming, France shoot from distance too, especially Pogba and Griezmann. Jamie Chavez, the right side of the bracket has to be one of the weakest I've ever seen in the World Cup. Speaking of that, so the distance shots are real important for France, okay? Because they are, of course, good in the counter. Early on, I suspect France will be attacking from distance to spread out Uruguay defenders, right? I don't think you want them clogging up that box, right? So I think they're going to try and spread them out early, and that's something you want to look at, okay? Look for that in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. France will go for some long shots there, spread these guys out. Right, that's what I'm expecting. Let's go ahead and talk about Brazil versus Belgium. Okay, this is going to be a good game, and the moment has arrived. Okay, there's already people questioning Belgium. Oh, they struggled against Japan. Look, they were struggling against Japan, right? True. That's absolutely true. But don't forget, at the end of the day, they won, right? Not like Spain, they got it done. You know what I mean? And they also had a deficit where a lot of teams would have fell apart. Belgium did not fall. Belgium showed me a lot. Of course, you could argue they got exposed or whatever it is. That their defense is suspect. I get it, but you got to admit that they showed something. They showed a character that you need in order to advance. Because you're not going to score the goal. Be the first one to score the goal every time. You're not, right? So how you behave when they score one, but not one, but two goals says a lot about you. Okay. And Belgium, I mean, they kept playing their game. They kept believing in their philosophy. And in the end, it pulled through. So now they're confident. Right. This is a team, when Brazil scores on them, they're still dangerous. Okay. Well, that's it. Brazil should win this game. I think Brazil's the faster team. Right? I think Brazil is the better defensive team. Okay, defensively, which I can't believe I'm saying, but Brazil's defense is standing out here. Usually Brazil stands out with that superstar that is just scoring goals, but that's not what is happening here. 5 shots at goal in 4 games. That is astonishing. Okay, only 1 goal in the opener has been scored on Brazil this entire World Cup. They're in the quarterfinals and they've been scored on 1 time. That's it. And that's less than anybody else could say. Belgium got scored on more in just the last game alone than Brazil has the entire World Cup. Right? And you could even argue Brazil has played better teams. So this is going to be interesting. So when I say the moment of truth, we're about to find out if Belgium, all the people that bet on Belgium, if their bet's going to pay off. I think most suspected Belgium's going to get to at least the quarterfinals. Remember I said that? There's a reason I would say at least the quarterfinals. we're about to find out if Belgium is for real. Like if all those whispers, because very few are coming out and saying, "Oh, they're going to win the whole thing." Very few are saying that, but many people are thinking it. Right? They just don't want to say it because they don't want to be wrong. Right? But I think the dark horse right here is going to be beat by the favorite. Right? I think Brazil should win this game. I think Brazil's defense is going to be hard for Belgium to penetrate, right? It's going to be hard. Their defense is on point, right? And I don't know if that's related to what happened 4 years ago, but they have polished this defense up, right? And this defense is looking really good. Really good. I saw Mexico play the best 25 minutes I've ever seen Mexico play the last game, right? Those first 25 minutes, Mexico was like, damn. I was like, damn. And it could only get one shot at goal, okay? Right? And then they ran out of energy. So Belgium obviously needs a better game plan. Maybe in spots they can attack, but they need a better game plan. We'll see. I think Brazil's better in the midfield as well. Okay. I think this game it might be a 0-0 game in the making, right? If a team wins, it might be 1-0. I got Brazil winning this 1-0 in extra time, right? Is what I got. That's what I got. Okay. I think Belgium's going to play a very careful game, a very disciplined game. It might not be the most exciting game to watch, but that's what Belgium has to do. So we'll see. Let me look at the comments here. David Chavez, the right side of the bracket has got to be the weakest I've ever seen in a World Cup. Well, David Chavez, some say Spain are still passing the ball. They're somewhere, yeah. Prince White Charming, Kevin de Bader, and Eden Hazard. Also, Romelu Lukaku needs to step it up. There you go. Versus Brazil. Man, these names, bro. All right, Brazil, Texas is AJ10. Belgium plays a 3-4-3 formation. I don't know if you want to play. Now, the 3-4-3, I'm assuming, because it's those midfielders will transition into a defender depending on where the ball is or where Brazil will have the ball. So I think this is going to be a very uneventful game. Okay. If you're looking for like a shootout, this is not the game to watch. All right. But, and usually that's what you kind of like in Brazil, I mean, I remember when Brazil would rarely kick the ball back to the goalie. Okay. That was like rare, they're doing that no more now. It's Brazil's culture is changing here, and it's adapting to what they need to adapt to because times have changed and they need to adapt. So we'll see. It's a bad formation against a team that is organized with a pace. I think they'll be fine as long as those midfielders can transition defensively. I think it'll be fine. You might have to catch Brazil a little offside sometimes. It just depends, but we'll see. Only France's offense can give Brazil problems. Well, we'll talk about that matchup in a little bit. This is a bad formation against Brazil's defense problems. Gotcha. Belgium can win if they take it to penalties. Well, yeah, anybody could win if they take it to penalties. And that's the one thing about this Brazilian team. If there's ever been a Brazilian team that can take the penalties, it's this one. Belgium is weak in the full back position. That's why they played 3-4-3. AJ10, they got Brazil 3-1. Wow, 3 goals. Prince White Charming, Belgium would be a real dangerous team if they had 2 solid fullbacks. Well, they have what they have, and they got into where they are with what they have. I think Belgium's going to put up a better fight than people think. That's what I think. Well, we'll see. Let's talk about Russia versus Croatia here. Okay, Russia, Croatia. Interesting. This is an interesting matchup, right? I would like to say that I'm real confident that Croatia should win. They're the much better team. They're a better quality team, right? Kevin Laws, by the way, has Brazil 3-0. This is crazy. Like this is going to be a tough game for Brazil, right? Brazil is not the offensive juggernaut that people think here. Not this World Cup, right? So just watch. First half's going to be 0-0, more than likely, right? We'll see, but we'll see. Milos has Croatia 2-0. To me, Croatia's just a better team. You know, it's has Croatia 2-0. However, Russia did beat England. I'm sorry, not England. Spain. Did I just do an omen for England? But Spain. I don't know why I said England, but that was an upset. But this is a game of chance, right? Like, how likely is it you're going to pull off another upset? You know, with a team that I personally had beating Spain. I had Croatia beating Spain, and Spain went to the, so it's, to me, the checkerboard guys are going to win, right? The chessboard guys are going to be playing chess, and Russia's going to be playing like Russian roulette or something, okay? I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know if that makes sense. I'll say this. I think win or lose, Croatia's going to dominate possession. Maybe not as much as Spain did, but they're going to spend, that's because they're going to spend more time attacking than passing the ball around, okay? I also think Croatia is, I hope anyway, they utilize longer passes here to spread out the Russians a little more, right? So I hope they get the Russians more to the midfield, do some longer passes so they don't clog up the box as much. I think Croatia's going to pick them apart. And Croatia's a hard team to score on, right? So I do expect that if Russia scores, it might be one goal. But I don't think Russia will have more than 3 shots on goal in this game. I just don't, right? They'll have a lot of shots, but on goal, maybe 3 if they're lucky. I see Croatia at the very least like 10 to 15, right? How many shots at goal will Russia have against Croatia? Let me see this in the chat, all right? Belgium's too offensively minded, says AJ10. That's why charming Belgium is very strong with attacking midfielders and wingers. Croatia 2-0, 2-0. Spain themselves beat themselves before the World Cup started. Croatia is more direct than Spain. How many shots at goal will Russia have? I don't think they'll have more than 3. I don't think they'll have more than 3. Now, that does mean there's a possibility they could score, but I'm giving them 3 shots at goal in the entire game. That's it. I think Croatia will have like 10 to 15 shots at goal, right? That's what I think. Jamie Chavez, 4 shots at goal for Russia. 4. It's kind of low, by the way, but Mandzukic scores a brace tomorrow. There you go. What would happen to the soccer world if Russia wins it all? I don't know. I mean, it would let everybody know that. You know what I think? I know it sounds crazy, but first of all, they're not going to win it all. That's number one, right? Let's just be honest. They're not going to win the whole thing. But if they were to win the whole thing, I don't know. If you allow a nation that their biggest sport is hockey, okay, win the World Cup, then that's a bad look for the sport. That's what I think, right? Isn't hockey their biggest sport? No, I mean, I'm not saying they're not passionate about soccer. I really don't know how big soccer is in Russia. I just don't. Okay, but I don't think it's bigger than ice hockey. 4.5. Russia would be Donald Trump of soccer. It would shock people, right? But it might be good for. I think a lot of people will tune in. The conspiracy theories are going to start, right? I mean, till this day, I mean, I can't stop running into videos about how Ronaldo was poisoned before the '98 World Cup. Like, okay, like Ronaldo was a striker, bro. Like. You still can't explain the 3 goals, but anyway, there's going to be a lot of conspiracies, and I don't know. I'll be honest. Even me, I'll just be kind of like, well, what's going on? You guys did see Uruguay handle them right in the group stage. I mean, they got handled. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, they're solid, but they're better than I expected, but they're not that good. If they beat Croatia, I'll be shocked. I mean, I was shocked when they beat Spain. So if Russia wins, it will make the World Cup the most rigged event ever. I mean, I don't want to call something rigged without proof. I know there was a lot of stories of, we got to watch the game, right? Like if I watch Russia and it looks legitimate, and then it's just Croatia just, the goals got blocked or it went to penalties and it was called down the middle, then what can I say? All I could say is, hey, the better team won. But, I have a hard time seeing it. People still cry about South Korea making it to the semifinal in 2002. Yeah. Syria has a better chance of being a liberal democracy than Russia does of winning the World Cup. Oh, there you go. Let's talk Sweden, England. Sweden, how sweet it is. Sweden. They're a good team, man. They're a good team. Sweden came so close to being unbeaten. It's just that Germany made that unbelievable goal on stoppage time. If not, they'd be unbeaten right now in the World Cup. Sweden eliminated Italy, okay, from making the World Cup. So this is a team that is very familiar with these positions, with do or die positions. They're very familiar with it. Malala says England 2-1 over Sweden. Oh man. England was my pick. I'm going to roll with England, My semifinal picks are the same. My semifinal look exactly the same after the quarterfinal, right? I had Croatia advancing. I had France advancing. Brazil advancing. I still have England advancing. Hasn't changed, right? I do believe Sweden would have beaten Colombia. I really do. I really do believe that. But I feel England will beat Sweden. So I think Sweden advances, right? I'm sorry, England, okay? Jamie Childs believes they will lose by 2 own goals. Holy shit. Russia 2-1 over Sweden. I got England winning this game. It'll be interesting, but I got England winning, man. Right? It's a tough game, though. It's a tough game. It's not a guarantee. Like, England is not guaranteed passage to win this game. Backland City is going to take it all, though. Well, I'm sticking with Brazil at the moment. Kimala, Sweden would have handled Colombia easier than England did. Yeah. England 1-0, says AJ10. I think Sweden would have handled Colombia just like they handled Mexico, to be honest with you. Maybe a little closer to the game, but I think it would have looked something like that. This is crazy. Portugal would have handled Russia. Yeah, I believe that, yeah. England, Sweden is by far the toughest game to call. It's a tough game. I mean, Uruguay, France ain't that easy to call either, but Sweden beats England, says Prince White Charming. Holy shit. Holy damn. But yeah, after the round of 16, I mean, I did get 2 games wrong, right? But my semifinals look the same. It's going to be France, Brazil, Croatia, England. That's my semifinals, right? And France, I mean, look at that, man. Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil. That's France's road to the World Cup final is through all the 3 of the biggest South American powerhouses. Okay. Argentina has 2 World Cup victories in World Cup history. Uruguay has 2 as well, I believe. And Brazil has, 5? That's 9 World Cup victories between all of them. France has to go through all those teams. Look at that. Right? And then, of course, this is crazy. Right? France's bragging rights over South America will never end if they win this World Cup. It just won't. Right? Like, if you're Brazil, you're better off losing against Belgium than France, right? So, because you'll never hear the end of it, right? Sweden beats England. Sweden impressed me versus Mexico and did well versus Switzerland. Age of 10. No one predicted Russia to take down Spain, at least in this chat from what I recall. No. Some people joked about it, like, oh, they'll win via Putin, but, you know. France or Brazil? That's a tough game, man. And look, as of right now, I'm sticking to my original. Like, when this whole thing started, when we were still, before any one game was played, I said France all the way, okay? But I said, look, let them play. When we get to the round of 16, then I'll give you a rundown. Before the round of 16 started, I had Brazil. Okay, I'm going to stick with Brazil at the moment, but once I see Brazil playing Belgium, and if they win, of course, and once I see France, you know, if they could beat Uruguay, I might change my pick, right? So when I come on here and I give you my semifinal picks, I might say France. I don't know yet, right? But I just got to see how France plays against Uruguay. That's going to give me a real good indication on how they're going to play against Brazil. So, AJ10, I got Uruguay taking down France. Just a feeling. That's interesting. Maybe everybody just, how do you say it? Jinxed Mbappe, right? Everybody watched the highlights. Everybody's going to sit down and tune in, and then look, if they have the perfect game plan and they implement it and it works, of course they could win, right? We can't underestimate the managers and the game plans they have, right? Like, everybody's forgotten about France's manager. When this whole thing started, oh, France's manager sucks, and this, like, you know, he's still the manager. So we still don't know he's going to blow this thing, right? So we'll see. France's offense is more deadly than Brazil. Yes, it is, Prince White Charming. However, their defense is suspect, right? But Brazil is very organized and defensively strong. Well, you took my words. Kimalas, Yeah, but Brazil has a much better defense than France. Okay, defense wins World Cups. Neymar doesn't deserve to win a World Cup, says Jamie Chavez. Uruguay will have trouble controlling France's athleticism and speed, says Kim Alaz. Well, anything can be contained. If there's one thing Uruguay has is experience. Okay, so we'll see how they implement that. Right, like I said, there's a faster team. Man, Uruguay, Brazil. I got Brazil winning that one. Right. Um, France versus Belgium. I gotta go with France, but you never know. I mean, it's tough. You know what I mean? Russia, England. I mean, I don't know. If Russia makes it to the semifinal, then it's not that crazy, right? That they make it to the final. It's not that crazy. But I think they're going to be gone. You know, Sweden, Croatia is another interesting semifinal. Who wins that game? I have no idea. I don't know who wins Croatia versus Sweden, right? Brazil's allowed 1 goal in 10 matches. I think France will score on penalty kicks versus Uruguay. They are the best at shots per goal defense. They literally allow 1 shot per goal per game. All right, everyone is talking about Brazil's defense. Brazil hasn't faced a top team in the World Cup yet. Well, look, they're about to face a pretty good offensive team in Belgium, right? So we're going to find out here. You know, a lot of people have been talking about Belgium, including myself. Here it is. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll see. Right? Croatia versus Sweden. Belgium, including myself. All right. Joe Lopez 40 ounce has Croatia versus Sweden. Oh, wow. You know, I feel bad for teams like the Netherlands, right? I feel bad for Holland, man, that they're not here at this World Cup. If there was ever a World Cup that they have a shot to win, this is it. Can you imagine the Netherlands on the right side of this bracket? Just imagine it. It could have easily been Netherlands instead of Sweden right now against England. It could easily have been Netherlands instead of Croatia versus Russia. Right? It could have been Netherlands versus this Brazil, obviously, of course, but that there to me is a team that probably the best nation to not win a World Cup, you know? Brazil tied with Switzerland, just Joe Lopez 40 ounce. That's what, yeah, but if you watch that game, though, I just feel like Brazil just played the better game, you know? And it was the opener for the World Cup, so it was interesting. Kim Alaz, I know, but you said Brazil hadn't faced a good team. And Brazil had a pretty decent group, man. It wasn't the weakest group or anything like that. I mean, Uruguay to me didn't really have a tough game until they faced Portugal. You know, like Belgium, you could argue, you know, had an easier group than Brazil. Until they're facing Brazil, you could argue it was a tough game. Croatia, you could argue, you know, well, they did destroy Argentina. So there you go. Netherlands would make it to the final, which would then guarantee their opponents a finals victory. Damn. Uruguay had a joke group. Yeah, they did. That group, Russia, if Russia was in any other group, I don't know if they make it through. I just don't. Like, if you had put a Russia in the same group as Spain and Portugal, would they get through? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? By the looks of it, they beat Spain, but they beat them in penalty kicks. In a group match, it would have been 1 point. You know what I mean? I don't know if they could beat Portugal. I just don't. I think Portugal beats them. I think Spain wins their other games. Russia probably has another draw. You know, they don't get through. Egypt was cake without Salah being healthy. Yeah. Didn't they lose to Saudi Arabia? What the hell was that? Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about, Serbia is a solid team that Brazil faced. Yeah, Serbia is good. But I wanted to touch on this really quick. Something I want to touch on. I have several thoughts on this. Okay. And I apologize if my thoughts are not politically correct or whatever, but this is what I'm going to say. All right. First of all, so there's been news reports popping out about female reporters getting groped, right, by random, in most cases, drunken fans, right, after World Cup. And this is random fans from almost all countries, right? Now, I don't condone just walking up to a woman and just putting your hands on her just like that. I don't condone that, right? However, with that said, okay, so I want to make clear I do not condone that. That's not right, right? But I saw CNN do a piece where they get this lady on and they start talking about the number of female reporters at the World Cup compared to male reporters, okay? And they also start talking about how most countries don't refer. You see, like they're taking something that's happening, right? It's sexual assault to just go up to a woman, and just grab her breast and start kissing. That's sexual assault. Okay. Instead of talking about the individuals that are doing these things and condemning it, right? Which is what they should do. Instead of doing a report on, hey, these women are getting groped and kissed, that's sexual assault, okay? You know, it's, I don't know what the laws are in Russia, but there's something that should be done about that, okay? But with that said, to take that, right, and then start talking about, oh, there's only like 14, 15, whatever it was. It's like a small percentage, or, you know, it's not half and half, in other words, right, of reporters for the World Cup are women, right? Like, I didn't know that we have to have half of the reporters to be women, right? I don't know it had to be half and half. I don't know what the good percentage is, you know? Like, if it was 30%, would it still be bad? If it was 40%, would it still be bad? Look, I personally don't care, right, who's reporting or not. Like, I don't care, right? But this idea that there's something wrong with our society because most of the reporters at the World Cup are male, and like somehow like those male reporters are responsible for female reporters getting groped. Like, what's the connection there? I don't understand where the connection is. I just don't. And then you have a woman come on, oh, and most of the world, you know, they don't refer to the men as the men's national team. They just call them the national team. And the women, they got to call them the women's team. I mean, let's not, first of all, okay, it's just a historical fact that the game was started by men, okay? It's true, okay? I'm not against women playing. I'm all for women playing, and they can play the game. That's good, okay? But look, I got to be honest. I'm going to be 100% honest. When have you ever seen, when have you seen DStyleBoxing come on YouTube and talk about the female World Cup, the women's World Cup? When have you seen me do that? Doesn't mean I don't support them doing what they do. That doesn't mean I don't believe it should exist. Doesn't mean I don't want it to be successful. It just isn't for me. Like, I'll watch the final, if that. You know what I mean? If the women's team makes it to the final for the U.S., I'll watch it. You know what I mean? And I'll cheer them on. But I just don't follow it the way I do with the men's World Cup. I just don't. Does that make me a bad person? Am I a horrible person? Because you can't force me to watch it. Okay? Like, I don't watch it. Now, I don't know what the numbers are for reporters for the Females World Cup. I don't know, because like with the Men's World Cup, I don't care. Right? But if 90% of the reporters are women, then good for them. Like, I have no problem with that. If I were to find out that only 10% of reporters for the Women's World Cup is men, I honestly wouldn't care. I just wouldn't. I just would not care. All right. Every time when I watch the World Cup, right, and when I go to ESPN or I watch some random stuff from like the UK and they're talking about it, yeah, they'll have a woman here and there, but the vast majority are former players, male players. A vast majority. Now, I don't have a problem when they have a woman. Like, I don't even think about it. But this whole, like, well, you got to have women there too. Like, it's men playing. Like, what do you want? Like, it's so is the world sexist because when it's the World Cup, just more people just watch it? Like, do we have to call it the Men's World Cup? Like that makes no sense to me. Like, it's honestly, it isn't. It's. I'm just saying, just because the stadiums are half empty when the women play, I got news for you. It's far behind the men's play. It's far behind. All right, that's just the truth. I'm not saying, there's a lot of nuance to this. I'm not saying that I don't want to see it be successful, that I'm against it being successful, right? But this idea that you're somehow, like, things I wasn't even thinking about. Like, you're somehow sexist if you only support the Men's World Cup. And if you don't if I don't start a video and I say, hey, let's talk about the Men's World Cup, everybody. This woman on CNN was like, oh, it's such a sexist game. It's considered like such a manly game, and it's so sexist, this game. But why is it a sexist game? Like, what are you talking about? This is a game played all over the world. Like this, women are treated differently by, I'm sure, in Saudi Arabia than they are in Germany, for example. Okay, it's played all over the world. To just paint the whole sport with a broad brush and say, oh, this game, it's just a sexist game. Like, are you kidding me? FIFA is so gentle about anything. Like, it's accusing FIFA of being sexist is hilarious to me. Like, that's dumb to me, right? This is crazy. Like, I can't believe this, right? Like me, my whole life, I've watched El Tri, the Mexican national team. Never in my life, ever, have I sat down and watched an entire women's Mexican national team game. Ever. That makes me a sexist? Come on, In some things, women just get more attention. In gymnastics, look, women are just better at gymnastics than men. And they get more attention. More people watch the women's gymnastics than the men's gymnastics. You don't see me crying about that. Women's gymnastics gets higher ratings on TV than men's gymnastics. Good for them, right? So anyway, I just want to make sure I divide the two. Of course, if there's a woman reporter covering the World Cup, of course, no one should go up to them and just grope them and start kissing them. That's disgusting. I don't condone that. Okay? I don't condone that whatsoever. Could the media just not report about that? If you want to pressure FIFA to say something about that, fine. Okay? You want to pressure the Russian government, whoever you want to pressure to bring up the fact that there's these, isolated, sexual assault cases that have been going on, right? Live on camera, right? If you want to call out the individuals that are doing it, then by all means, right? I don't have a problem with that at all. But then to turn it into a whole, it's the whole sport is sexist. There are arenas with tens of thousands of people in it. I don't see women getting, groped and all this. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, right? But it's not like this big epidemic that's happening. 99% of people are just there to enjoy the World Cup, right? And sure, they're having fun, doing their own thing afterwards, right? But consensually, right? So I just wanted to bring that up. Maybe I'm a bad person because I cover the men's World Cup, right? And I don't call it the men's World Cup. I just call it the World Cup. That's what it's always been. I'm not going to stop calling it that, right? Is boxing sexist because they don't call it the men's World Heavyweight Championship or what? So we have to start saying that? Like, for real? This is insane. This is crazy, right? And then they brought up Wimbledon. Like, I didn't even know this, by the way. Well, they just stopped recently calling women Mrs. this, Mrs. that. Like, was that dumb? Yes. Okay. Is it newsworthy? Probably not. Right? Like, who cares? Okay. And let's just be honest. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. And now you could say that maybe that should change, but men's soccer is just better than women's soccer, right? It's just better. It's just played better. It's faster. It's more explosive. It's more skilled, right? I'm not saying I don't appreciate what the women could do, and I'm not saying that at all. But it's just the truth. Should the NBA call itself the MNBA? Does that have to be the Men's National Basketball Association now? Like, what is this? What's going on? Most of the highest paid athletes in the world are men. That's what people want to see. Okay, like, I am tired. Okay, I am getting sick and tired of some of these feminists out there, right, trying to make men feel guilty for things that, in all honesty, women are in full control of, right? Women are, okay, there's far more women on this planet than men. If there's more support for the men's World Cup than the women's World Cup, I'll repeat, there's far more women on this planet. Like guilt-tripping men for it, right? Is absolutely asinine to me. It's asinine. There's far more women in the United States, okay, than men. The fact that the NBA gets far more attention from the public than the WNBA is not men's fault, okay? Now, at average, men watch sports more than women do. That is true, but that's not our fault, right? That just isn't our fault. That's what we like to watch, for the most part. Not saying there's no women out there that watch sports, right? But the most watched sports are the men's sports because the men are just the better athletes. That's just true, okay? I don't care if that makes people feel bad. Right? I'm just saying. Does that mean I can't appreciate, great women athletes? Right? Of course I could appreciate great women athletes, right? But I'm just calling it for what it is. Let me see if I could look at the comments here real quick. Would England go if they had England's path? I don't know, man. I don't know if Mexico could pass Colombia, to be honest with you. I don't know. The men's. We're talking about the men. You see the Korean male reporter who got groped in Russia, but he was smiling after he got groped. Yeah, groped by 2 Russian girls. I don't care who is going the interviews. You need to support the Women's World Cup and support Ronda Rousey, or you're sexist. The Women's World Cup is next year, says AJ 10. The female game is growing, but the sport is 30, 40 years behind the men's game in global play and following. Jim Chavez, I remember 2011, the Women's World Cup was exciting as hell. AJ 10, I hate the agenda that some feminist group guilt men into watching the Men's World Cup. Kamal Laws, the media drives me nuts with the agendas. Prince White Charming, there was a guy on Facebook who got attacked for saying the Men's World Cup is a real World Cup. I mean, I got to be honest. Why would you say that, right? But at the same time, why would you attack the guy? You know, that's more ridiculous, but, you know. Age of 10, I'm sure the majority of women who attend these World Cup matches would prefer the men's game over the women's game. Well, numbers show that, age of 10, right? The numbers show that. Jamie Chavez, Neymar should play for Brazil in next year's Women's World Cup. Neymarina. Jamie Chavez, Mexico's women team is awful. 8 to 10. I don't see men complain about Miss Universe getting more coverage than Mr. Universe. Exactly. 8 to 10. The American women have the best team because they have the best funding and biggest pool of players. Women buy more jerseys and team gear than men. True. Colombia beats Mexico, says Kamal Laws. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce. I wouldn't mind getting groped by 2 Russian women. Yeah. Well, you know, I wouldn't either. But I mean, I'm not going to dive into all that. Okay, I'm not. But what I don't want to do, I don't want to give the impression that I'm okay with a random dude just walking up to a female reporter, groping her, trying to kiss her. Like that's not cool, right? Just because I'd be okay with 2 Russian women, you know, hot Russian women coming and roping me, that's different, right? But at the end of the day, I know that I'll get called, like, even that, like, they'll be like, oh, what a double standard. And, you know, like, okay, whatever. Okay. Got to throw your hands up and be like, what do you want from me? Right. The Korean guy didn't either. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, now, do you want to get groped like if you're married and your wife's watching from home? Do you want that to happen? You know, like, I don't know, right? Maybe he is married and he thought, well, I'll just enjoy it now and I'll pay for it later, right? He could just be like, honey, I mean, you know, it's just reporters are getting groped at the World Cup. What do you want me to do? A Russian woman kissed an Italian reporter live on TV. Italian reporters are out at the World Cup. He didn't complain. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I get it. Right? I do. But it's like, it's not the same. We all know it's not the same. Right? And yes, it is a double standard. Okay, but like at the end of the day, you know, I'm just saying. Okay. I'm sure if Tom Brady and Cristiano Ronaldo grew up the female wouldn't complain. You know, I get it, right? But what if the woman did complain, right? Then people would say, "Oh, come on, she knows she liked it," and, you know, I'm not going to play this game. But at the end of the day, my stance is pretty clear here. So the media takes something that's happening, that's being caught on camera, right? Has happened in spots. It's not happening every single time a female reporter's out there, okay? But I will say that it has to be addressed, obviously, but I just, my point in all this is the media taking something like that and then making it about something else altogether, right? Kamalas, It better not go beyond groping. Russia has one of the highest rates of HIV in the world. Holy shit. Well, um, is that true? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Right? I'll take his word for it. But so if Trump was out there with those Russian prostitutes, you know, I'm just saying, right? The media sensationalizes shit. Yeah, I agree. So female reporters got groped. Instead of reporting on that and being like, hey, why are those guys doing that? We got to find out who these guys are, right? To do a report, you know, be a reporter, be a news outlet. No. There's something wrong with the culture of soccer in the world. There's something wrong with it. You know, like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, this isn't serious, bro. Like, that's not serious. Hell, those Portugal games, like 80% of the people watching are women, okay, just because they want to see Ronaldo, right? I was at the bar when Ronaldo was going to throw the free kick, right? Everybody cheered when Ronaldo made the kick, right, against the goal against Spain. The women cheered when Ronaldo pulled up his shorts like he does and shit. Oh my God, those legs. Like, you know, whatever. All right. I mean, we all know those ratings were high because the women were watching. Like, who the fuck? Like, come on. Right? Well, why weren't the women tuning in? Okay. To watch the other players in those low rated games. That's what I want to know. Or were they too ugly or what? Are the women being sexist? Like, what's going on here? Right? Are they judging men by their appearance? So you tell me that all these female Ronaldo fans, it's because like Ronaldo could have been the 10th best player in the world. Like, he would still have the same female fan base. Okay, that's just true. Anyway, with that said, guys, I gave my predictions. I gave my thoughts. Right. Once again, thanks to everybody that joined me live. Don't forget, if you haven't already, thumbs up the video. All right. This is DStyle, and I'm out.